Lumion and landscape. O, diba? Kita mo.
Let's call our friends from Art Creatives to see the difference between SketchUp and Autocad. I'll be stalling with my SketchUp on the left while he continues Autocad on the right.
Yes. Well, syempre, ito yung nakasanayan ko for how many years. I've been using this for like 7 years. 6 or 7 years na. So, mas madali mag-conceptualize or not conceptualize, but really, well, mas accurate siya for me compared to SketchUp layout.
Does the black background in Autocad suit you better in your workflow?
For me, dati kasi gumamit din ng white background then dark lines yung mga lines ko. Yun is parang mas maganda lang siyang tignan. Pero habang tumatagal kasi masakit sa mata. At dark interface, parang mas nakakatulong siya hindi mas nakakatulong, mas comfortable siya sa mata.
For our international viewers, we're going to speak in English as well, so just hold on. I want to ask you, are color codes important in AutoCAD right now in your current project?
Yeah, color coding. Kasi mas madali mo ma-identify yung mga layers mo, kumbaga.
In that case, what do you use the white color for in the specific code?
Walls. Kasi I have a black background, di ba? So parang ito yung mas applicable. Yeah. Mas makikita mo.
Years ago when I went to a firm looking for apprenticeship, they were very particular about my AutoCAD color coding. So they were bragging about how cyan has a pen type like this and like that. Red should be here, magenta should be there. Do you think that line weights or these color codes are truly important if you are not specifically doing this project for file collaboration?
No? As long as you are able to present it properly. That's my own. Unless if you're going to send the raw file to someone else who's also using AutoCAD na parang legit AutoCAD draftsman, ganun, or architects. But yeah, pero if you're working alone and then you're just basing it on the output, then there's no need to really.
Because right now I'm working on layout, so what I see here on the white background is what I see when printed. Or do you have a specific workaround in CAD?
Well, memorize ko na kasi yung yung mga color coding ko dito. So, I can easily parang detect or parang see if there's a line overlapping.
That your own color coding schemes?
Yes, I have my own template then. And whenever I'm converting my drawings to a PDF file, parang you can easily see the line weights.
So how's your usual workaround? After making the floor plan, are you gonna straight to blueprint or 3D first?
After this, umpisa na akong conceptualize sa 3D.
Are you going to model in AutoCAD 3D as well for your 3D modeling or SketchUp?
No, I model in SketchUp.
SketchUp, what's the difference?
User-friendly interface, even the overall is really nice. The overall interface is very nice. You don't have to be, for me, in architecture, to learn the software. You can be an interior designer or even some in engineering fields.
Oh yes, because literally SketchUp is for everyone, right?
Yeah, exactly. As long as you know what you're doing.
Did you know the start of SketchUp? They were originally owned by Google, and Google gave it for free, making SketchUp for everyone.
Before Trimble.
Well, Google's aim that time was to put your own houses into Street View, but after they have acquired drones and satellites, they made this Google Maps, Google Earth, so we didn't really need it, and Trimble bought it. After Trimble used it for construction, I was wondering if you can learn AutoCAD in one day?
Um, Hindi siya ka-user-friendly eh. Kasi parang there's a lot to learn and it's very technical compared to SketchUp that you can just push and pull kaagad.
Giving the same requirements, a two-story house, typical bedroom requirements, how long do you think you can work it in AutoCAD as compared to SketchUp?
Planning-wise or modeling-wise?
3D modeling wise.
Well, there's a big difference. Depends kasi I'm not into modeling in AutoCAD. If maybe, but I think there's still a time difference kapag, for example, if you parang invited two people, the one is going to use modeling, SketchUp, and the other one is AutoCAD. I think you can already determine in the first 30 minutes of the modeling stage, a phase, makikita mo na yung difference kung sino kagad yung matatapos. So, I think SketchUp is really better in in terms of ano ba, yung pagkabilis niya. Yeah, speed-wise, SketchUp talaga.
Let's say somebody just learned using AutoCAD for a day. Do you think they're able to make the same output as you have in 6 hours?
Maybe for a day, probably they're going to, use like more than 10 hours of their time in a day to completely learn yung mga the important ano ba, keys sa AutoCAD. I think hindi pwede. I think pwede silang gumawa ng mga shapes, 2D plans, mga ganun. But yung ibang keys, malabo.
Since you have like a command line there in AutoCAD, let me just zoom in. Do you prefer using enter or space? It's like coding.
Both. You can use both, but it's better if you're going to use space. It's much closer to your finger. How about you?
Well, for me in SketchUp layout or SketchUp, I just use space to deselect all the commands. So if I want to change a command, I press space instead of.
Nice.
Basically, layout is like the layout space and SketchUp is the model space. You also have that in AutoCAD. Do you use those tabs, the model and the layout sheet tabs?
No, I'm no longer using. I'm only using the model tab.
But have you ever used the layout tab before?
Yes. I tried it like before. I only used it for like a year.
Here, so you do everything, all drawings in the model tab.
Exactly.
So what happens if you have to revise everything when everything is on your model tab?
I have my backup. I just back up everything.
Do you make a new file or what?
Yeah, I make a new file.
Do you name them revise 1, revise 2, or ASDF, ASDF? Final, final, pinaka-final?
Malapit, mas malapit, pinakamalapit. Like that.
Do you think that file names give you a sense of rush?
Probably. I'm not sure.
Do you have an Enscape that's open there? Let's see a sample of Enscape render done in SketchUp. Oh, there it is. Okay, let me zoom in. Okay, kindly describe this.
Render the landscape.
Oh, this is really good. You won't know which software was used here because you're looking at the end product.
Yeah. Not bad, right?
What were the Photoshop touches that you did here? I think it's just enhancements.
Lighting, colors, and then effects.
It looks good. What file size, what screen resolution did you use here?
Like the highest quality size.
That's Ultra HD. A while ago you were concerned about the trees, saying Lumion was better.
Well, a while ago, before I rendered this, I noticed the trees. But then when I rendered it, it turned out to be good.
Yes, because when what you see in real time render already looks realistic, but when you render it even further, the quality becomes better.
Exactly. Look, it's really nice. I was really surprised.
When we're working in an Enscape, since we have no Enscape textures, these are SketchUp, right?
Yeah, SketchUp texture. I got this from SketchUp texture.
Well, that's the beauty of Enscape. It's really fast, 7 seconds, right? Anyway, let's go back to AutoCAD. Can you give us some advice for students, draftsmen, and even those professionals working in it?
Alright. I think I'm just gonna, I think for everyone na lang. Kasi since I'm going to tell them na workflow is very important when drafting. Yeah. Kasi dito mo makukuha kung gaano ka kabilis magtrabaho. Well, for me,
Can you expound to us what you mean by when you say workflow is very important?
kunyari, ano yung mga softwares na ginagamit mo for 2D, 3D, and then rendering, and then post-process. So, wala namang masama kapag gagamit ka ng AutoCAD to SketchUp. Wala rin masama kung SketchUp lang lahat. As long as you're able to provide the output sa mga clients mo na maayos and mabilis, then there's nothing to worry about. As long as you're able to finish it quick ahead of time and mas madali ka mag-revise, mas madali mo siya maintindihan, then there's nothing wrong about it.
Very good advice. You mean to say you have to choose the workflow that best suits your style in working. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Well, with these many software, how do you cope up with revisions? Example, do you complete it or
It depends on, kasi may mga revision na after ng final output, mga ganun. And may revision din na parang for checking lang muna. So it's better kung ang mahirap kasi dito kapag yung revision mo is after you finish all the details. That's the hardest part. Unlike Revit na parang yun kasi is isang model lang talaga yung gagawin mo. And when you change something, it will change everything na
oh, you mean just like in Revit, right?
in Revit. Unlike in, yun, depende rin. Pwede mong gawin yun sa SketchUp, pero the problem is, ang tanong doon kapag malaki na yung project, syempre you cannot just rely on SketchUp ng isang model sa SketchUp. That's the hardest part. And yun, for example, may ginawa kang isang model na dapat nakalink din siya sa pangalawang model. Eh syempre, kung pinalitan mo yung isa, hindi mo mapapalitan yung pangalawa kasi nga mabigat. Unlike Revit na minsanan. And ganun din sa AutoCAD. Mas mahirap naman sa AutoCAD kasi it's not based on...
Because the line works in AutoCAD if you're working in all 2D.
Depende yun. For me, pag sa AutoCAD yung revisions, mas matagal. Kasi per face mo kasi siya i-drawing eh. Hindi naman siya model. Parang ganun.
When a floor plan gets revised in AutoCAD, you have to revise each sheet.
Yes, exactly.
Revit's actually industry standard and full course here. It takes around 20 hours just for basics.
Yeah. Pero I have some friends working using Revit and once na parang pag nasimulan mo siyang pag-aralan, mas madali mo siyang matututunan kapag basta masimulan mo lang and you have the passion na gamitin yung software, walang problema.
I was actually a Revit user before before sticking to SketchUp layout as my main software. It was really nice, it was really enticing, but I just hated editing properties because I wanted the feel of SketchUp, like you're really drawing. So it's really a good software though.
Oh, yeah.
Like because everything is like standard, or you can easily find their schedules for doors, windows, even the changes. But when I have to question, like to make a curved roof, I always have to watch a specific video for that. I prefer the ArchiCAD too. Have you tried it?
Not yet, because I do not have the software.
Well, speaking of software, there are a lot of methods to attain software. Let's just go directly. Many people uh, use Lumion as well. So, as an expert, what was your experience?
But I know how to use Lumion, but uh, why am I in AutoCAD?
Uh, as coming from Lumion, I'm curious why you're slowly using Enscape lately.
Well, Enscape has a better quality in terms of interior, and now I think I can also do it in the exterior. Yeah. So parang I'm really amazed on how uh, Enscape was able to improve the software and yun.
I agree with lighting, especially for real time. I'm curious, there's a difference between presenting Lumion and Enscape to clients.
Mas madali kasi di, mas madali nila makikita yung difference ay yung lighting kumpara sa Lumion na you need to render it first before mo makita yung pinaka-output na hinahanap mo.
Do you have Enscape open right now? Can we see?
I think so.
So guys, this is not an animation. He's actually moving the mouse. This is a real-time render, right?
Yeah.
Well, many people, oh, nice flying tree. But many people, when they're presenting in Lumion, can you do it this way or it's just the base model, I guess?
Yes, but hindi mo makikita yung this one, you can already see kung ano yung magiging output niya unlike sa Lumion.
No, don't get us wrong. We really love Lumion, but after seeing how the lighting here can ray trace in real time. Oh, that's really good. Your lighting's really good.
Yeah. Oh, doon din ako nagulat. Wait, can I save the preset of this?
Yeah, go open the arrow on the lower left.
Where?
See the small arrow there on the left?
This one?
Go lower. It's in the middle of the small window. Yeah, that one. Just create the and then update. Yeah, just rename it.
Overcast kasi ito eh. Gumawa ng overcast preset ko.
Try to save it before you update it. I don't know where it is.
Ito. Wait, ba't nawala yung ano? How to use the preset? Bumalik ako sa original
Oh,
preset.
wait, I forgot the hotkey. It's something view management.
How?
Try to press the letter F for the view management. It's like the scene manager.
Yan?
Yeah, and then create a view. No, that's collaborative annotation. F.
Wait. View name muna. Create.
Then link your visual settings from there. Overcast, right?
Dito? Ba't nawala yung ano? Wala ko eh.
Wait, let me try here in my Enscape.
Shucks, sayang yun.
I think it's already saved. Are you starting from scratch again? So the visual setting?
Oo nga, nawala. Sayang.
Wait, go back. Visual presets. Go to the custom preset that's already saved.
Ah, ito pala, oh.
Just go back to F and click on custom presets instead of overcast.
Create view, no?
Is it back? Is that the original one a while ago?
Yeah. I mean, ito is ganito na to. I mean, paano mo i-save yung preset mo na parang pwede mo siyang i-import?
It's already saved once you saved it in the custom presets. You can even use it in the other models that you're using to render. Just go back to your presets and you can just select them from there. Night scene, day scene, whatever you set up.
Ah, okay. Nice.
So just right click and rename them from there, tapos it'll get saved.
So ito na kasi magiging preset ko kasi maganda siya eh.
Come on. Okay, I will show you guys an example of my Enscape without any preset yet. So this is the default preset. What I want to show you here is that you can present to your clients in real-time render, changing the time of the day if you have no HDR. So yun, it's a very effective if you're rushing works for presentation. Now let's go to a very delicate matter about Lumion. So this is about cracks. So just to be a bit frank, I guess we all had that time in our lives when we were still studying, and we found some Lumion cracks because we can't afford them. Is that true? Amen?
Amen.
So I'm going to ask you because we've been all through Lumion, even through the educational licenses, and we've noticed a lot of piracy going on. What are the warnings you observed and you can give by Lumion?
Well, una-una is ano ba? It can easily be detected by um, the Windows or the system when it's cracked. Like what I just installed Autocad, Lumion last week, and then I fell asleep last night, and then I forgot to turn off my computer, and it got updated at alone, and then when I was rushing my model a while ago, and then yun, it's like na ganun naman yung nangyari.
So the system detected the crack.
Yeah, nakakainis.
Which Lumion did you see was the most stable when opening?
Lumion 8.
That's the version where you don't have to turn off the firewall or the antivirus, right? You just input a license key. So we're not actually encouraging people to download viruses, but that's the workaround. Meanwhile, Lumion 9 came out with real skies, Lumion 10 with a preview, and Lumion 11 with a facing sync. However, a lot of workarounds just by installing it cost a lot of stress, than just obtaining the educational or the trial licenses. That being said, let's focus now on the use of Lumion users. What advice could you give regarding their PC specs?
First is you need to have a very strong PC. Probably if you're going to use Lumion 11, you need to use a 20 series graphics card, Ryzen 5, yeah, RTX, Ryzen 5 3600X and above, 6 cores, 12 threads graphics card, and then you need to have the equivalent of that is i7 8 gen, a minimum of 32 gig of RAM. The graphics card should have a minimum of 8 gig memory.
Now these are recommended specs based on how heavy you model. But how about the pricing? How much?
You need to prepare at least 70k or 60, 70k PC. If you're going to buy a laptop, that should cost like around 80,000.
Let's just say 100, almost 100k.
And you need to also have a dual monitor, a second monitor that you could use if you're going to use Lumion or Enscape for faster editing. You don't need to use the Altab mode every time you're going to edit. Right now, I'm using my main display for Autocad since I'm not using my rendering software. But whenever I'm using my 2D and 3D, I use my main display for the 3D for better resolution and coloring. My main display is on my right side.
Oh, that's good because when you usually use the laptop, extended monitor goes to the right if you put your mouse hovering. But you can always change it in the display settings anyways. anyways, let's take a break. I am kind of distracted by this podcast. Can't work well right now. But my cats are gonna give birth.
How much?
I don't know yet. She's Siamese, but I don't know the husband.
Libre mo na.
We'll see. It's better to give to those who already know how to take care of cats because you just can't trust the first timers to take care of the breed.
Alam naman kami. We have like have many cats. Alabas na dito yung pusa eh. Nag-adapt pa sila ng another cat dito. Balak ko. Yung Siamese na yun, if ever na matuloy, dun yan sa Tomay. Kasi we only have 2 cats there.
Sige, we'll see if she gives birth. But anyways, guys, let's try to relate cats with our profession. When I was still studying, doing my thesis, it felt very lonely. I couldn't stay up all night to do the work. But when I had a cat, it was just there. It was not bothering me. It was just sleeping. But I felt like I had a companion, and I was able to stay up till morning without feeling drained. I don't know. There's just an effect of having a companion. Well, dogs are good too, but I don't have that much energy. So if you're a lazy bum that wants to work productively, I just get a cat because they're lazy as well. Anyways, back on track. Have you ever tried working as a draftsman?
3D artist. And yeah, I think I worked as a draftsman for 2 years after I graduated. No, before I even graduated.
When you were working, since you were paid by the hour or per day, were you purposely slowing things down for work? Binabagalan mo ba? Kasi per oras yung bayad o binibilisan mo rin?
So if it's a project based or commission based, then you can ano tawag doon? You can pwede mo silang singilin ng per hour. Pero if you're working under a company, then malulugi at malulugi ka. Hindi maganda.
So I guess what happens to a lot of draftsmen is that because they are being paid by minimum wage in some companies, sometimes they think it's not worth giving all their skills, and sometimes they delay it by the day. And understandable if you're an apprentice because you're there to learn before to earn, so you can be trained for the services. However, there are abusive companies that treat draftsmen like they offer services that are out of their scope, to the point where client handling till estimates are not being double checked anymore by the company, and the transaction becomes just between client and employee, which puts the profession at stake as well. So, what were your experience for this?
Na mas nababayaran yung contractor.
Yeah, for example, it's not an architectural apprentice, and then the contractor gets 10K for the blueprint and then just gives 350, but the draftsman did everything. In extreme situations such as this, which happens, what do you think is what if you were in this situation where you're being abused and just being used to be a profession you may not be, and your contractor is not actually a contractor, he just has money?
Quit ka. Maghanap ka na iba. Maghanap ka ng iba. Kasi it's not worth it. Parang mas nakikinabang ka unless kung it's really into apprenticeship talaga siya, then it's okay. You need to understand that you're still under apprenticeship. Pero kung draftsman ka and then you're not working under an architect, pero draftsman ka lang in terms, ano ba? Kasi pwede yung contractor na yun, may architect siya, di ba? So, parang ikaw magiging draftsman ka, pero you still have an input regarding the design, then you're not being credited for that, then yun yung mahirap. Pero at least once in a while sana is nasusuklian din yung effort mo as a draftsman.
So the right credit would be like designed by architect this, but rendered and visualized by this. Uh, but for apprentices, since they're learning, they can do
Yeah,
everything.
depends. Kasi yun din yung misconception or parang may misunderstood ng ibang tao. Or even some draftsmen na what I learned is hindi naman sa lahat ng oras is parang kailangan mo nandun. Parang ganun. You need to understand na you're still not there yet. Parang you will have your time. Parang ganun.
So you have to know the motivation and the job description that you are in. So if you're hired to draft under a design, then you have to produce the drawings. And apprenticeship is a different thing.
As long as I'm being paid na maayos. Parang ganun. Yun naman yun. As long as you're being paid, then it's okay. But if you're just being exploited, that's another thing.
Okay, now since we're about to end this talk, I'm going to ask one last question. If you have to choose one, just answer one, huh? Money or passion? Go.
Vote.
Yes, that's all our answer. But example, they're the same level, just 1 point higher. Which one?
Passion. Passion makes money. I think passion is for long-term plans and money is for short-term pag yun lang yun sa isip mo. At least if you're passionate on what you're doing, mamamaster mo at mamamaster and by the end of the day, you'll get rewarded by it na hindi mo napapansin. And compared to pag money yung iniisip mo without any passion, there's a finish line sa there's a finish line kasi darating araw na paano pag hindi na yun yung pag tumigil na yung pinagkakuhanan mo ng pera. So what's next? Parang ganun. That's the thing. So passion.
So to our viewers, let's not confuse it as saying he never said money is not important. Actually, he chose both first, but I had to let him choose one if 1 point is above the other. So imagine like NBA players doing what they really love to do and they're being paid for it, as compared to someone who just works for money but never gets promoted. So of course we still have to have wisdom there, like ikigai. Passionate about something that sells can also be. So there are people I know who, they get exploited because they always chase after money to the point where they lower their principles and they get abused at work. So I don't think that's a necessary thing to do, because money is there, it can be achieved, but people are just choosy. Like, I don't want to be a janitor, I don't want to be a street cleaner, but they want instant cash. So I think both will be the right answer. If you can put passion in your work, then you can enjoy living life at the moment.
Yeah. Enjoy your enjoy the journey. Parang there's more to life from yun lang. Yun lang. Yeah. Alright. Thanks, man. Sige, kita-kits na lang if ever. Ay, wag mo muna i-upload yun Panoorin ko muna.
Yeah, don't worry, man. No edits, no music. So actually, guys, due to technical difficulties, my microphone was very weak, so I had to put random voiceovers using almost the same script. As you can observe here in the next video, you cannot hear my voice, so sorry, edited.
Lumya na landscape. O, di ba? Kita mo. Mas clear yung materials ng landscape kumpara sa Lumyan. This is around 15 seconds. Kasi doubtful ako nung una kung kaya ko itong malabas ng landscape.